Okay, I was just thinking about this today. Like, just woke up, face all, I ain't even washed my face or anything yet. But I was just thinking, like, our love for one another has shifted to our pets. And I don't think it's a bad thing. I remember when I was little, we used to love our pets, but like, there used to be stray dogs on the street, stray cats on the street. And the love we had for our pets was not as great as it is now. And that's not even the point that I'm trying to get at. I'm not trying to get at that, we should love our pets less. But it seems like there's been a shift from loving each other to loving our pets. And, every pet now is an emotional support animal. And I think this is because we don't support each other. We don't love each other. And I'm not saying that we should decrease the love we have for our pets, but I'm saying we should use it as an example. The love we have for our pets is unconditional. You know what I'm saying? Your pet could shit on your floor. Your pet could mess up everything in your house. Your pet can scratch you and hit you and hurt and but you see your dog as a good boy. You know what I'm saying? You see your cat as a good kitty. You know what I'm saying? Like that cat could reject you and is always irritated with you, but you're gonna love the hell out of that cat, right? Or you're gonna love the hell out of that dog after they tear up your whole house. You know what I'm saying? Or if you don't, even if you don't want to keep that animal, you're not gonna harm it. You're gonna give it to somebody. You're gonna make sure it's okay. But we don't have that love for each other anymore. You know what I'm saying? And I think that we should use the unconditional love we have for our pets as an example on how to love each other, like how to remember to love each other, like to see each other as blameless like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, people do shitty things, but if you love them in a way where that behavior can be corrected and forgiveness is given, even if you don't go back to talking to that person, but there's a sense of forgiveness, there's a sense of letting it go, there's a sense of seeing that person as that person and not as the things that they do. You know what I'm saying? Then that's the love that is there. But I'm it feels like that type of love is shifting. It's like we don't have that love and trust for each other anymore, but we put it into our pets. You know what I'm saying? There needs to be a balance there. And I'm not saying take any love away from your pets. Like, I am an animal lover 1,000%. And I love how we care more. You know what I'm saying? But we're extending that love solely to our pets. And we have so much more love to give. We could give it to the people around us. We could lift each other up instead of being, tearing each other down, being envious of each other and wanting to harm each other. You know what I'm saying? Because there's nothing to be envious about. We all have everything within us. We're all whole. We're all complete. You know what I'm saying? So to be envious of the next person, to want to harm the next person, to want to do something to the next person, is not going to give you anything. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to make you superior to them. It's not going to take anything away from you or them, because you guys we all are already whole in our being. You know what I'm saying? We're already complete, whole entities of spirit coming down into this earth, playing this game of life. You know what I'm saying? So to treat each other as if we're solely the things that we do is insane, because we're just here the same, with the same powers, same abilities. If we learn to love ourselves and tap into our own powers, tap into our own abilities, we don't have to look to the next person to want what they have. You know what I'm saying? Because you already know what you have. What you have is what the next person has. They express it differently because they're their own entity. But God hasn't given them anything that they haven't given to you. You're already whole just like the next person is already whole. So that's the reason to love them unconditionally. You see different types of dogs, right? Ugly ass dogs, beautiful ass dogs, and you love them the same. They're just as cute. The ugly dogs is just as cute as the cute dogs. As we see them as whole, we see them as complete, we see them as love. And that's how we need to see each other, as love, as whole, as complete, and have that complete acceptance like we do for our pets. You know what I'm saying? I sit there and watch pet videos, animal videos all the time, and be so and get this loving feeling inside. Like we should be able to do the same for people, and not we kind of do for babies, but sometimes people be hating on babies too. Like we have to know that our intentions are pure, that we're here just to know ourselves, to love each other, love ourselves, extend ourselves in love. That's the purpose of us being here, to extend ourselves in love. So everything else is just going to bring harm to you. If you want to harm the next person, it's going to bring harm to you, because everything is a projection of you onto the next person. So if you're envious of somebody, it's because you think that you're not complete, that there's a hole inside of you. So you want to put that onto the next person, and you want what they have, but you're not them, and you don't. It's just your lack of recognition of your wholeness. That's it. That's all it is. It has nothing to do with what you can get from them and what you can take from them, because you really can't take anything. You might take something physical, or might confuse this person for the moment, but it's ultimately going to bring you harm, because that shit is going to come right back around, because that's energy. That's what it does. Why can't we love each other like we love our pets? Why is our love for one another, you know, the distance coming in between the love for one another? It doesn't make sense. We should use that as an example, as a model. And then, and again, we think it's gonna be boring to just love one another. We think that the drama is fun, or like, but nah, that's just stress. It's not fun. Like if you think about your dog, you can go have an adventure with your dog and love your dog completely without the drama, and it still be fun. You don't need that element of hate. You don't need that element of conflict to live your life. You know what I'm saying? You could you don't need to add that element of conflict to live your life, because there's always going to be ups and downs, but if you maintain your peace, you're going to be peaceful, and that always feels good. And I think people are afraid of that. I think people think that if I don't have this conflict in my life, then I'm going to be boring, or my life is not going to be good. I promise you there are other things to focus on. There are other things to bring into your life other than the conflict, other than the cycles that you keep going through over and over again because of some lack that you feel in yourself, you know? If we lived in a world where we just focused on lifting each other up and focused on our own work, whatever our work is, whatever our interest is, we focused on ourselves. And when it came to other people, we saw them as ourselves. So we appreciated them for who they are and what they have to bring to the table too. Do you know how much further along we could be? We are stuck in the distractions of of one upping one another. Like even culturally we could just accept each other's culture. We could just praise each other's culture. Yet we get so caught up in who's doing it right, who's doing it wrong, that it is that it don't matter, because nobody's taking anything away from anybody. Like we are too easily provoked by one another. It's exhausting to have to police and regulate everybody all the time. There's so many other things to focus on than the flaws of each other. You know what I'm saying? And who controls what. Because the division, the hatred is just a distraction. These are all distractions. It's divide and conquer. These are tactics to keep us going. You know what I'm saying? Keep us going in a direction of being sheeple, having to be dependent on a system that is insane, you know, because the system relies on fear. So we start to fear one another because we think this person could take something away from me, that person could take something away from me, when it's not true. If you're whole in your being, nothing can be taken away from you. If you know that you're an eternal being, that death is unreal, that the soul never dies, that you are always living, that you are living now in the eternal, you know that nothing can be taken away from you. So there's nothing to guard, there's nothing to protect. there's nothing to shield or to keep for yourself because you have everything. You're whole in your being. So you have everything. So nothing is a threat to you. You know what I'm saying? So when nothing is a threat, fear goes out the window. Fear is not real. Fear is something we constructed, and it infiltrates every single part of our lives because of a system that was that perpetuates it, right? And we live within that system that perpetuates it. Capitalism, everybody in trying to be the best, trying to want. There's no one upping. What I'm saying is, if we love ourselves fully, right? If we take the time, that means be by yourself. Like, figure out who you are, not connected to anybody else. You and your being, figure out who you are, not connected to anybody else. Take some time to yourself. Sit to yourself. Like push past. You have to be by yourself enough to push past those feelings of being lonely, because you got to know that you're whole, that you're never lonely. If your spirit having a human experience, then you're never lonely. Spirit is always with you. Like, you're of God. There's no there's a singular you in the sense of this physical singular you, but you are of one spirit. So you are of the wholeness of God, the wholeness of every person on this earth. So there's no loneliness. You know what I'm saying? It's just perceived loneliness. So if you can stay alone by yourself to push past that perceived loneliness, then you can learn yourself, and love yourself in your wholeness, in your completeness. How else can I say this? You are not lacking anything, right? You have nothing to prove. You are already wholly valuable. You have, your success in this world is not going to make you more valuable than you are now. Your failures in this world is not going to make you less valuable than you are now. You are already perfect in your value because you are of God, period. If you know that, anything anybody else ever thinks of you, it does not matter, because it's not going to add to you or take away from you. So you're going to learn to not care what anybody else thinks. So in your being, you can live freely as you, because you don't care. You don't care because there's nothing to care about. You know what I'm saying? Another person's opinion is just their projection onto you, right? Because they're dealing with stuff that they have, they feel like there's holes in them. So they're going to project their insecurities onto you. You know what I'm saying? If you get any negative feedback from another person. And that's all it is their projection. You do not have to react to other people's projections of you, period. Just love yourself and accept them. No, for them. You don't have to hate them. So don't hate them. Don't even dislike them. Somebody doing you wrong, doing you dirty, or they feel like, don't even acknowledge it, because that's them dealing with their own feelings and dealing with their own mess. If you start to hate them, if you start to resent them, that is the resentment that's building up in you. It's not building up in them. Those feelings are building up in you. So you're doing harm to yourself. They're already doing harm to themselves, having projected onto you and having to deal with those feelings of insecurity and lack. So if you don't take it on yourself to react to how they feel about you, then you free yourself. You know what I'm saying? When you take it on and you're like, oh, this person is attacking me, you're not seeing correctly. They're not attacking you. They're not attacking you. You cannot be attacked. Understand? You cannot be attacked. You are whole in your being. You are whole in your being. They're not a threat to you. So you continue to look forward, look at you, and focus on you. Focus on the people that love you, on the things that love you. If they're showing lack of love and they don't want to change and this and that, let them go. Let them go. Let them go. In love and in peace and in light. And you wish the best for them. And truly do that, because it's only going to benefit you. If you see them as whole, as yourself, if you see them as whole and you see them as just going through something, and you don't see their actions as the truth of their being, then you will free yourself. I promise. When you see people's actions as the truth of their being, you're going to perceive a world that's untrustworthy. You're going to perceive a world that you have to be afraid of. So you're going to constantly live in fear, trying to protect yourself, trying to do better and one up, trying to prove things. And it's just a perception, and it's wrong perceiving. You know what I'm saying? When you realize your wholeness, realize there's nothing to prove, realize that you don't have to do the things that you're not called to do, right? Realize you don't have to prove anything to anybody. Realize that you're accepted in your wholeness as you are. Like, then you start thinking from a different mind space. You know what I'm saying? You start seeing from different perception, and peace comes in because there's nothing to be proven, right? There's nothing to hold on to. You got the peace. You have you have peace in your life. You are peace. You know, you are that love. Nobody can take that from you. And that's what you remember when you let everything else go, you know.